searching for destiny, proving superiority, breaking the rules society had laid out for it. A Pokemon destined to live on the battlefield and die in our memories, to be the best that never was. But what is the ultimate Pokemon, and just who the hell was behind its creation anyway? With its bonds to Team Rocket, Giovanni, and Mr. Fuji shrouded in mystery, I set out on a journey to piece together the story of Mewtwo, connecting the events laid out in the video games to that of the anime. Shiny. Despite Mewtwo being the final challenge trainers can seek out in Red and Blue, there is a shocking lack of information distributed to the players on the origins of this menacing Pokemon, and perhaps more so, the lack of hard evidence that Team Rocket, Giovanni, and Mr. Fuji had anything to do with its creation. This is polarizing to the anime sequence of events, rubbing it into the viewer's face that not only did Team Rocket fund the creation of Mewtwo by the hands of Dr. Fuji, but Giovanni had planned to use Mewtwo as his ultimate weapon, aiming for total world domination. However, there is one area within the original games that divulges shards of information on the origins of this genetically engineered Pokemon. To find these shards of information, we'll need to head on over to the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island, where we'll be able to piece together a sequence of events that led to the ultimate Pokemon. Video Game Origins, Guyana, and the Pokemon Mansion Journals. July 5th, Guyana, South America. A new Pokemon was discovered deep within the jungle. July 10th, we christened the newly discovered Pokemon Mew. February 6th, Mew gave birth. We named the newborn Mewtwo. September 1st, Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. The author of the journal was never confirmed, although many clues point to Mr. Fuji of Lavender Town as its original owner. This is shown through Fuji's close friendship with the gym leader of Cinnabar Island, Dr. Blaine, evidenced with a portrait of the pair found in Cinnabar Gym. Blaine mentions both he and Mr. Fuji used to research Pokemon together, and states that his old friend's research can be found within the Pokemon Mansion, directly tying Fuji to the journal. Comparing hints to that of the anime's portrayal of events in which we are outright told that the creator of Mewtwo is none other than the man named Dr. Fuji, and well, we have our first solid connection, so let's move forward. But before we move on from the journals, there is one major point of contention that we need to discuss. Journal entry number 3, Mew gave birth, and its clear departure from the anime's telling of events in which Fuji discovered a fossilized Mew eyelash, which he used to form the clone that became Mewtwo. Whether the journal entry is figuratively or literally saying Mew gave birth will likely remain a mystery that Tajiri will carry to his grave. However, if we are to assume that the video game chronology Dr. Fuji caught a Mew that would literally give birth to the genetically engineered Mewtwo, as opposed to the figurative concept that Mew's fossilized DNA paved the way to the creation of Mewtwo, then there is actually a small amount of evidence that supports this idea found 2 generations after the original games in Pokemon Emerald. Allow me to direct your attention to the incredibly rare location few players have actually ever seen, in the hopes of finding one last clue. Faraway Island, a jungle found in Pokemon Emerald via mystery gift. Trainers lucky enough to have attended an event giving away the key item called Old Sea Map are able to hitch a ride from Lily Cove City and embark on a journey to this mysterious island, where the mythical Mew will reveal itself to those who scour the island's jungles. This in of itself is amazing, and to date is the only way to find Mew in the wild, heavily suggesting that this so-called faraway island may be the jungles of Guyana referenced in the Pokemon Mansion journals. And curiously, on this island there happens to be remnants of an old faded sign that appear to have been written a long time ago. It reads, "Burr, 6th day. If any human sets foot here again, let it be a kind-hearted person. With that hope, I depart." Analyzing this text, we can decipher that it is dated on the 6th day of one of the 4 final months in a year. And to anyone savvy enough to read Japanese, you will notice the faded signature ending in the Japanese character G. It's an incredible coincidence that this signature ends with the same Japanese character of Mr. Fuji's name. According to my incredibly scientific calculations involving more equations than there are shapes of unknown, I have come to the conclusion that this G person is 100% without a doubt the same Fuji who created Mewtwo. Fuji felt so terrible about the horrific experiments that led to the creation of Mewtwo that he returned to the jungle in an attempt to atone for his sins. Regardless of whether Fuji was being figurative or literal in the third journal entry, the fact that this remnant of a message exists on this island, along with Mew's wild appearance within the tall grass, confirms that this faraway island is the location Fuji visited that would pave the way to the ultimate Pokémon. Connecting the anime chronology. In the depths of an unnamed jungle, legends of a mythical Pokémon known as Mew whisper through the wind, scattered in the ruins of an ancient civilization. An expedition was led by Dr. Fuji, a scientist who devoted his life to the research of genetic cloning. After losing his only daughter, Amber, Dr. Fuji worked tirelessly on his research in the hopes of bringing her back to this world. And after many years, his research garnered the attention of Team Rocket and its leader, Giovanni. Seeing the potential in Dr. Fuji's research, Giovanni funded the project on the premise that he must also create an enhanced clone of the mythical Mew. For 19 years, verifying whether these events could have taken place in the video game storyline has been impossible. However, the 2018 games Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee included a massive reference to these events in the reimagining of the Pokémon Mansion. With its inclusion of a new laboratory located in the west wing of the mansion's basement, players are able to explore a rather accurate recreation of the laboratory seen in the movie, and within you will find a massive test tube almost identical to the one featured in the uncut story of Mewtwo. Furthermore, when a player brings Mewtwo to this massive machine, it will stop and stare at it, seemingly lost, deep in thought, perhaps reflecting on the events that led to its birth. South of the largest test tube are 4 smaller ones, likely having once housed the Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle clones along with the clone of Fuji's daughter. With this information, we are able to understand what happened in the Pokémon Mansion in Red and Blue, and the events that caused its destruction in much closer detail, as this new location is clearly trying to recreate the set found in the movie, and in my opinion, confirming yet again that the events that took place in the anime are meant to reflect that of the games. After Mewtwo escaped the laboratory, it encountered the very man who funded its creation. Though Mewtwo would not realize this right away, Giovanni planned to use Mewtwo for world domination, but first he would need to tame it. Encased in a suit of armor designed to focus and restrain its power, Giovanni had Mewtwo perform a multitude of tasks, including battling in the Viridian Gym, along with assisting Team Rocket in capturing Pokémon. After 2 decades of unattainability, Armored Mewtwo made its first catchable appearance during the summer of 2019 in the mobile game Pokémon Go. Although non-transferable to other Pokémon games, with its inclusion to Pokémon Go, we are able to more closely observe the effects the armor had on Mewtwo, seeing exactly how it restrained its special attack stat whilst bolstering its defenses. The armor was designed to tame Mewtwo, and these stats show us exactly how tame its power became during these events. Located between Cinnabar Island and the Orange Archipelago is New Island, an anime-exclusive location and place of Mewtwo's birth in the anime. New Island housed a secret cloning facility owned by Team Rocket, where Dr. Fuji conducted his experiments. After its destruction, it was rebuilt by the hands of Mewtwo on a much grander scale. Deep within the laboratory, on an old computer, is a very interesting message left by Dr. Fuji, full of warning and regret.
I haven't got much time. I pray this record of our experiment survives. A year ago, we discovered a fossil that proved to be the remains of the ancient Pokémon, Mew. There was sufficient genetic material to replicate Mew, but Giovanni, who funded our project, insisted we try to design super clones more powerful than any living Pokémon. Many attempts failed, but finally our experiments proved successful. We produced a living Pokémon. We called it Mewtwo. But for some reason, the creature's anger is out of control. With its psychic powers, it is destroying our laboratory. We dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokémon, and we succeeded.
Although the records of Fuji's message on both New and Faraway Islands differ from each other in the terms of the medium they are presented, the contents of these messages are sentimentally the same, ultimately filled with regret, and as such, I find it incredibly curious that both islands contain a message of remorse from Fuji. With Fuji's connection to Mewtwo in the video games now solidified, let's turn our attention to that of Team Rocket and its leader Giovanni. Throughout the anime, it was always clear that Giovanni had funded the research into the development of Mewtwo. The video games, on the other hand, not so much. For 18 years, not a lick of evidence could be found within the video games that would confirm Giovanni's involvement. This changed on November 17, 2017, with the release of Pokémon Ultra Sun and Moon and its epilogue, Episode RR. Episode RR features a new villainous group of not-so-new villains by the name of Team Rainbow Rocket, and at the head of this new organization sits none other than Giovanni. With the use of Ultra Wormhole technology developed by the Ether Foundation, he was able to recruit all other regions' group of villains leaders throughout history, bringing them from realities where they had found success in the pursuit of their goals. So what was Giovanni's final goal in Pokémon Red and Blue? Giovanni strived for world domination through the use of the strongest Pokémon Team Rocket could find, attempting to seize Silph Co in order to obtain the ultimate Pokéball, the Master Ball, along with scouring the Kanto region for the strongest Pokémon, a Pokémon worthy of requiring a Master Ball for its enslavement to Team Rocket's cause. Like the other admins, this alternate reality Giovanni had achieved his ultimate goal, and with that, everything he ever wanted was in the palm of his hands. With his ultimate battle team, featuring the ultimate Pokémon, trainers were forced to fight the mega-evolving, all-powerful, battle-hungry Mewtwo in order to save their reality from Team Rocket. The significance of Giovanni owning Mewtwo in a reality where he had succeeded during the events of Pokémon Red and Blue are astronomical, verifying his knowledge on the existence of Mewtwo, just like the anime's telling of events. And in the following year, a new video game entry in the series called Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee would confirm Giovanni's involvement in the creation of Mewtwo, setting it in stone and further solidifying the anime's telling of Mewtwo's story. In these games, the famous Silph Co headquarters, where players thwart Giovanni's plans to take over the company, are revamped by a startling degree, adding new context into Giovanni's conversation with the CEO of Silph Co, confirming that he had planned to use the company to produce a slew of Master Balls, along with the confirmation that not only did Silph help Giovanni create powerful Pokemon, but through the efforts of stolen research. This is the most blatant scene shown in a mainline Pokemon game that links Giovanni to the creation of Mewtwo, his need for a Master Ball in order to capture the escaped Mewtwo hiding in Cerulean Cave, to the confirmation that Team Rocket had funded the creation of a new powerful Pokemon with stolen research. And clearly it's the very same research we found within the Pokemon Mansion all those years ago. So there we have it. With all these pieces of evidence, I think it's safe to conclude that the anime telling of events was always meant to reflect that of the video games. And these pieces of evidence found 2 decades after the release of the original games prove just that.